What happens when America's sweetheart meets her match in an interview that goes completely off the rails? Well, grab your coffee because what I'm about to tell you will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about live television interviews. Before we dive into this explosive confrontation, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because this story has more twists than a country music ballad. So picture this: the Today with Jenna and Friends show is running its usual morning lineup when Carrie Underwood walks onto the set looking absolutely radiant in a cream-colored blazer, her signature blonde waves perfectly styled. The audience is buzzing with excitement, phones are out recording, and Jenna Bush Hager is sitting across from her with that familiar warm smile that viewers have come to love. "Carrie, it's so wonderful to have you back on the show," Jenna begins, her voice carrying that cheerful morning television energy. "Your fans are absolutely dying to know about your upcoming tours and this new album that everyone's been talking about." Carrie settles into her chair, crossing her legs elegantly and flashing that million-dollar smile. "Oh, Jenna, thank you so much for having me. I'm always excited to be here with you and your incredible audience." The interview starts off perfectly normal, exactly what you'd expect from a seasoned professional like Carrie. They chat about her latest singles, her family life, and upcoming tour dates. Carrie is giving all the right answers, laughing at the right moments, and the audience is eating it up. Everything seems to be going according to script, but then Jenna leans forward slightly, and there's something different in her expression. Something that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Carrie, I have to ask you about something that's been circulating online. There are some pretty serious allegations about your charitable foundation and where exactly those donations are going." The smile on Carrie's face doesn't waver, but if you look closely, you can see her jaw tighten just a fraction. "I'm sorry, what allegations are you referring to exactly, Jenna?" Jenna pulls out her phone and starts scrolling, which immediately feels unprofessional and off-script. "Well, there's this investigative report that came out suggesting that less than 30% of the donations to your foundation actually reach the intended recipients. The rest apparently goes to administrative costs and, well, some pretty luxurious office spaces. The temperature in the studio seems to drop about 10 degrees. Carrie's publicist, sitting just off camera, can be seen frantically gesturing to the production team. This clearly wasn't part of the planned interview questions. "Jenna, I think there might be some confusion here," Carrie says, her voice still, maintaining that sweet southern charm but with an edge that wasn't there before. "My foundation has always been completely transparent about our operations. We publish detailed financial reports every year." But Jenna doesn't let it go. In fact, she doubles down. "I actually have those reports right here, and according to my calculations, your foundation spent more on office furniture last year than it did on actual charity work. How do you explain a $20,000 conference table when you're supposed to be helping underprivileged children?" The audience starts shifting uncomfortably in their seats. This isn't the feel-good morning television they signed up for. Some people are still recording on their phones, but others are looking around like they want to escape. The energy in the room has completely shifted from excitement to tension. Carrie takes a deep breath, and you can see her trying to maintain her composure. "Jenna, I'm really surprised that you would ambush me with these accusations on live television without giving me or my team a chance to prepare a proper response. This isn't journalism, this is a hit job. I'm just asking questions that your fans deserve answers to." Jenna fires back, and there's something almost smug in her tone. "You've built your entire brand on being this wholesome, charitable person. Don't your supporters have a right to know where their money is really going when they donate to your causes?" That's when Carrie's mask finally starts to slip. Her southern accent becomes more pronounced, which anyone who knows her well will tell you happens when she's really upset. "My supporters, as you call them, are some of the most generous and kind-hearted people in this world, and I resent the implication that I would ever take advantage of their trust." The cameras are still rolling, and you can sense that the production team is probably having a complete meltdown behind the scenes. This is live television, at its most unpredictable and dangerous. Jenna seems to realize she's pushed too far, but instead of backing down, she keeps going. "I'm not implying anything, Carrie. I'm stating facts based on public records. Your foundation received over $2 million in donations last year, and according to these documents, only $600,000 actually went to charitable activities. Carrie stands up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor in a way that makes everyone in the studio flinch. You know what, Jenna? I came here today to talk about my music and my upcoming tours. I came here to connect with my fans and share some joy. I did not come here to be attacked with incomplete information and accusations. The studio falls completely silent except for the hum of the cameras and lights. Even the audience has stopped. Murmuring, everyone can sense that they're witnessing something unprecedented. Jenna looks up at Carrie, who is now towering over her, and there's a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Carrie, please sit down. Let's discuss this like adults. But Carrie shakes her head, her blonde hair swaying with the movement. No, Jenna, I think we're done here. This conversation is over. We still have 15 minutes left in the segment. Jenna protests, glancing nervously at the cameras. Carrie starts removing her microphone, her movements sharp and deliberate. Then I suggest you find something else to fill that time. Because I will not sit here and allow you to destroy my reputation based on half-truths and sensationalized headlines. The tension in the room is now so thick you could cut it with a knife. Carrie's security team, who had been standing quietly in the background, starts moving closer to the interview area. The show's producers are visible at the edge of the camera, framed clearly in panic mode. Jenna makes one last attempt to salvage the situation. Carrie, if there are inaccuracies in these reports, this would be the perfect opportunity to set the record straight. Your fans are watching. Carrie pauses in removing her microphone and looks directly into the camera. My fans know who I am. They know my heart, and they know that everything I do comes from a place of wanting to help others. I don't need to justify my charitable work to someone who's more interested in creating drama than reporting truth. Then she turns back to Jenna, and the look in her eyes could freeze hell over. But apparently some people would rather tear down than build up. Some people would rather destroy than create. And that, Jenna says everything about their character, and nothing about mine. Jenna's face flushes red, and for the first time since this interview started, she seems to realize that she's bitten off more than she can chew. Carrie, I think you're overreacting. I'm simply doing my job as a journalist. Your job? Carrie lets out a laugh, but there's no humor in it whatsoever. Your job is supposed to be informing people, not ambushing guests with tabloid-level gossip. When did the Today Show become TMZ? The audience gasps audibly at this comment. You can see people in the front row with their mouths hanging open, clearly shocked that America's sweetheart just delivered such a cutting blow on live television. Jenna tries to regain control of the situation. I understand you're upset, but these questions are legitimate. The public has a right to know about the financial practices of major charitable organizations. The public has a right to accurate information, Carrie shoots back, finally succeeding in removing her microphone and letting it drop onto the coffee table with a loud thud. Not cherry-picked data designed to create a scandal where none exists. At this point, one of the show's producers steps into the camera frame, clearly trying to figure out how to handle this disaster. The producer, a middle-aged woman with a headset, approaches cautiously, like she's dealing with a wild animal. Ladies, perhaps we could take a quick commercial break. The producer suggests, her voice barely audible, but picked up by the studio. Microphones, Carrie whips around to face her. No, absolutely not. I'm not going to sit here during commercial break while you all figure out how to spin this mess. I'm leaving, and I'm leaving right now. Jenna stands up as well, finally realizing that she's lost complete control of the interview. Carrie, please, let's talk about this off camera. Maybe there's been a misunderstanding. Oh, there's been a misunderstanding, all right, Carrie says, gathering her purse from beside her chair. The misunderstanding is that I thought I was coming. On a show that respected its guests and operated with integrity, the cameras are still rolling, capturing every single word of this unprecedented meltdown. The director is probably having a heart attack in the control room, but there's no way they can cut away from this train wreck now. Jenna's co-host, who has been sitting silently through this entire confrontation, looking like she wishes she could disappear, finally speaks up. Carrie, I think what Jenna was trying to say is that transparency is important for public figures. Carrie turns her attention to the co-host, and her voice becomes even more dangerous. Transparency. You want to talk about transparency? Let's talk about how this show ambushed me with accusations without giving me advance notice. Let's talk about how you used information that you clearly didn't verify or understand. Where's the transparency in that? The co-host immediately regrets opening her mouth and shrinks back into her chair. Jenna makes one more desperate attempt to salvage her reputation. Carrie, I've been doing this job for 15 years. I know how to research a story. 15 years. Carrie's eyebrows shoot up. And in all that time, did you ever learn that there's a difference between investigative journalism and a witch hunt? Did you ever learn that accusations require evidence, not just suspicion? The studio audience is completely silent now, watching this verbal sparring match like it's a tennis game. Some people are still recording, but others have put their phones away, too stunned to even think about social media. Carrie starts walking toward the exit, but Jenna isn't ready to let her go. So you're just going to run away instead of addressing these concerns. That stops Carrie dead in her tracks. She turns around slowly, and the expression on her face would make a grown man weep. Run away. Lady, I have spent the last 20 years of my life building a career based on honesty, hard work, and helping others. I have donated millions of my own money to charity. I have spent countless hours visiting hospitals, schools, and community centers. I have used my platform to raise awareness and funds for causes I believe in. Her voice gets stronger with each word, and you can see the fire building in her eyes. I have never, not once, taken a single penny that was meant for charity and used it for personal gain. The fact that you would suggest otherwise without concrete proof shows me exactly what kind of person you are. Jenna opens her mouth to respond, but Carrie holds up her hand to stop her. I'm not finished. You want to talk about administrative costs? Fine, let's talk about them. Every legitimate charity has administrative costs. It takes money to run an organization, to hire qualified people, to maintain offices, to process donations, to ensure that money actually reaches the people who need it. The passion in her voice is undeniable, and even some of the crew members are nodding along with her words. My foundation employs 12 people full-time, Carrie continues. These are good people who left higher-paying jobs because they believe in our mission. They work 60-hour weeks, making sure that every dollar donated has maximum impact. That conference table you mentioned was donated by a furniture company, and we use it for board meetings where we make decisions about million-dollar grants. Jenna tries to interrupt, but Carrie is on a roll now. You want to know where the money goes? Last year we built 3 schools in rural Tennessee. We provided scholarships to over 200 students. We funded music programs in districts that were about to cut them due to budget constraints. We donated instruments to schools that couldn't afford them. The audience starts murmuring, and you can sense the mood in the room shifting. People are starting to realize that maybe they're witnessing character assassination rather than legitimate journalism, but you didn't mention any of that, did you, Jenna? Carrie's voice drips with contempt. You didn't talk about the children who are getting an education because of our work. You didn't mention the kids who discovered their love of music through our programs. You focused on office furniture and administrative percentages. Jenna's face is getting redder by the minute. Those things are important to Carrie. Donors have a right to know how their money is being spent. You're absolutely right, Carrie agrees, surprising everyone. They do have that right. And that's why we publish comprehensive annual reports. That's why we have third-party audits. That's why we maintain an A+ rating with charity watchdog organizations. She pulls out her own phone and starts scrolling through it. Would you like me to pull up our rating right now? Would you like me to show your viewers the independent verification of our financial practices? The producer steps forward again. Ladies, we really need to wrap this up. Carrie ignores her completely. No, let's finish this right now. Jenna wants to play investigative journalist, so let's investigate. She holds up her phone toward the camera. This is our Charity Navigator profile. A+ rating across all categories: accountability, transparency, financial health. But I guess that doesn't make for good television, does it, Jenna? Jenna looks absolutely defeated at this point, but she's too proud to back down completely. Even if your charity has good ratings, that doesn't mean the questions aren't valid. The questions would be valid if they were asked in good faith. Carrie responds, lowering her phone. But this wasn't about getting answers. This was about creating a moment, wasn't it? This was about going viral. The accusation hangs in the air like smoke, and you can see it hit Jenna right in the gut. Her eyes dart to the cameras, then back to Carrie, and in that split second, everyone in the studio knows that Carrie hit the nail on the head. "I don't know what you're implying," Jenna says weakly. "I'm not implying anything," Carrie fires back, using Jenna's own words against her. "I'm stating facts. Your show has been struggling in the ratings lately, hasn't it? Morning television is more competitive than ever. Sometimes producers get desperate for content that will get people talking." The co-host looks like she wants to crawl under the desk. The audience is completely transfixed, watching this masterclass in how to handle a hostile interview. Carrie takes a step closer to Jenna, and her voice drops to almost a whisper, but the microphones pick up every word. "You thought you could take down America's sweetheart with some half-baked conspiracy theory about charity fraud. You thought I would just sit here and take it, because that's what good girls do, right?" Jenna doesn't respond, but her silence speaks volumes. "Well, here's the thing, Jenna," Carrie continues, her voice getting stronger again. "I didn't get where I am by being a pushover. I got here by working harder than anyone else in the room, by being honest with my fans, and by never compromising my values for anyone or anything." She starts walking toward the exit again, but this time she's talking as she moves. "And my values tell me that I don't have to sit here and be disrespected by someone who clearly did zero actual research before trying to destroy my reputation on live television." The cameras follow her as she moves, and you can see the panic. In the production team's eyes, they know they're losing their biggest guest of the month, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. "You know what the real tragedy is here?" Carrie asks, pausing at the edge of the interview area. "The real tragedy is that there are actual charity scams out there. There are actually organizations that take advantage of people's generosity. But instead of investigating those, you decided to go after someone whose only crime is being successful and visible." Jenna makes one final, desperate attempt to save face. "Carrie, if I got something wrong, I'm willing to issue a correction." Carrie laughs, and this time there's genuine amusement in it, but it's not kind amusement. A correction. "You want to issue a correction after you've spent the last 10 minutes trying to destroy my reputation on live television? That's like setting someone's house on fire and then offering to call the fire department." The audience actually laughs at this, and you can see some people nodding in agreement. The tide has completely turned in Carrie's favor. "Here's what's going to happen," Carrie says, addressing the cameras directly now instead of talking to Jenna. "I'm going to leave this studio, and I'm going to continue doing the work that I've always done. I'm going to keep making music that hopefully brings some joy into people's lives. I'm going to keep supporting causes that I believe in, and I'm going to keep being transparent about every aspect of my charitable work." She pauses and looks directly at Jenna. "And you, Jenna, are going to have to live with the fact that you tried to tear down someone who has spent her entire career trying to build others up." The studio is so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Even the crew has stopped moving around. Carrie adjusts her purse strap and smooths down her blazer. "To everyone in this audience who came here expecting to hear about music and maybe get a few laughs, I sincerely apologize that your morning was ruined by this ambush. You deserved better." She starts walking toward the exit, but then turns back one more time. "And to my fans who might be watching this, please know that your trust means everything to me. Everything I do with you in mind. Your support has allowed me to change lives, and I will never, ever take that responsibility lightly." Jenna tries one last time. "Carrie, please don't leave like this." Carrie stops and looks at her with something that might actually be pity. "Jenna, I'm leaving exactly like this because this is who I am. I don't pretend to be perfect, but I also don't pretend to be something I'm not. When someone attacks my character based on lies and half-truths, I fight back. When someone tries to use me for cheap entertainment at the expense of my reputation, I walk away." She takes a few more steps toward the exit. "And when someone shows me who they really are, I believe them." With that, she disappears behind the cameras, leaving Jenna sitting alone at the interview table looking absolutely shell-shocked. The audience doesn't know whether to clap, cheer, or just sit there in stunned silence. The co-host finally speaks up, her voice barely above a whisper. Well, that was certainly unexpected. Jenna tries to regain some composure and address the cameras. We'll be right back after this commercial break. but you can tell that she knows her career might never recover from this moment. She just got schooled on live television by one of the biggest stars in country music, and every second of it was caught on camera. The producer is frantically signaling to cut to commercial, and as the cameras finally stop rolling, you can hear Jenna's voice in the background saying, "What just happened? What the hell just happened?" And that, my friends, is how you handle a hostile interview. That's how you stand up for yourself when someone tries to tear you down for their own gain. Carrie Underwood didn't just walk off that show. She walked off with every ounce of her dignity intact and left Jenna looking like exactly what she was: a desperate host willing to destroy someone's reputation for a few rating points. So, what do you think? Was Carrie justified in walking out, or should she have stayed and tried to work things out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're at it, make sure to subscribe for more incredible behind-the-scenes stories that you won't hear anywhere else.